Greetings, hi, TheWarOwl greets you, and welcome to How to Play Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This tutorial is a beginner-level tutorial, but all tutorials are for everybody. Since the release of the game, Valve has drastically changed the fundamentals to how the pistols work. So this tutorial is how to use the pistols, the most recently updated pistols. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, which pistol should I use? This is entirely situational. On the first round of the game, folks only spawn with $800. That's enough to purchase any pistol you want. But do you really need or want anything other than the starting pistols? Keep in mind, if you buy the pistols, you won't have any money left over to buy things such as kits, nades, flashes, smokes, and such. For terrorists, it doesn't... By the way, you can buy a Molotov first round now. Whoa! It doesn't make any sense to use anything except the Glock on the first round for the terrorists, because it has high damage and good enough accuracy and fire rate compared to the pistols they could buy. Dualies are cray-cray, and the Tech 9 has a muzzle over its magnificent jaws of death, and I'll explain in a bit why the P250 doesn't make much sense for the first round. In contrast to previous Counter-Strike games, the Glock in CSGO is freaking awesome. Now, I know it's going to throw many of you off who grew up in a Glock-depraved environment, fearing that you ever had to use the thing, but trust me, Glock OP. No, not actually OP. Please, Valve, don't nerf the Glock. For first round CT side, the P2000 is quite difficult to use, and by difficult I mean terrible, so you may be tempted to purchase a different pistol. The P250, no matter how cheap it is, doesn't make sense to use in the first round, because its primary purpose is to eat through armor. With pistols, you're going to be trying to go for headshots every single shot, and it is impossible to purchase a helmet on the first round, because it cost $1,000. So yeah, pretty much you want to stick with the P2000 and just learn how to use it. There is the 5.7 though, and I mean out of all the pistols, the 5.7 is probably the easiest to use and probably most effective, but it's incredibly expensive. You will be buying one 5.7 and one flash, and that's it, nothing else. No kit, no nade, no double flash, no armor, no whatever you were planning to get. Also, and you won't be able to save any money, also if you die, a terrorist can just grab your 5.7 from you. However, I do expect some of you folks would prefer using the 5.7 to the P2000. For every other round where you need to purchase a pistol, either for an eco you plan on not completely getting owned on, or a complement to the op, the P250 is your go-to gun, because it does extra damage against helmet compared to the P2000 and the Glock. Pretty much, when enemies get a helmet, the Glock and the P2000 become the P-Shooter 2000. The P250 is also really cheap, and it's definitely affordable. You can buy it whenever you want. Remember, you don't get extra money for pistol kills, so on an eco round you plan on owning some noobs, a Mag 7 is probably a better choice than a 5.7, because obviously the Mag 7, it costs more, but you're going to get more of a payout when you kill people. So, you know what pistol to use and when. The next obvious question is, how do you use them? That's easy, WarOwl, you just point and click. No. Each pistol is different and unique, but you're going to use the P2000 and the P250 about the same way. Notice when you try to spray with them that they start to shoot all over the place. They go up and then all over. They no longer have a predictable spray pattern to them, so spraying with the Ps is not a viable strategy anymore. You used to be able to spray with the P250 pretty consistently. Because they are semi-automatic, all shooting you do with them is technically tap shooting, but the real question is whether to shoot 2 or 3 shots at a time in quick succession, wait for the accuracy to be regained, and then fire another volley, or to purely tap shoot, shooting 1 shot at a time and waiting for the accuracy to be regained before firing another shot. The Glock is a tiny bit different than the Ps, because the Glock has what I like to call COD spray, which means that the spray pattern of the weapon is a radius around the crosshair, and it doesn't have much kickback at all. This means that when using the Glock, always keep the cursor pointed directly at the enemy's head, whereas with the Ps, the weapons will pop a little bit up when they shoot, forcing you to pull them down. Let me preface all of this by saying, you are going for headshots, except nothing less, because the pistols do crap damage, especially at long distances. You need to go for headshots with the pistols. First round no helmet, Glock P2000 have a chance to one hit at closer ranges, so it's definitely worth it to slow down and go for the good shot. For eco rounds where enemies have helmets, and you're using the P250, you may want to revise your strategy and start shooting a few shots at a time. Remember to never actually full out spray with the weapon and run around, because you'll have a better chance in Vegas than hitting somebody. There is another technique that I am hesitant to teach you, but I will anyway because this is a full disclosure tutorial. Remember my sidestep shooting tutorial? I taught you folks to strafe back and forth and then fire when you change directions, because at that instantaneous point, you are deadly accurate. I taught you to do this with the AK-47. Well, guess what? It works with the pistols as well, and it'll allow you to evade shots while firing accurately at the same time. Strafe back and forth and fire one shot with the pistol every time you change directions. This is an incredibly deadly strategy, with no real counter besides doing it yourself or going for the crazy hard shot. Or, of course, if somebody is trying to do it against you and they're saving and you're buying, you may actually decide to go for body shots. Alright, that's the pistols in a nutshell. To summarize, Glock and P2000 first round, then P250 against armor. Remember not to spray, go for one-shot headshots, and keep on moving unless you're shooting. Keep in mind that you deal less damage at longer distances, and it's hard to hit a target as well considering the lack of accuracy of the pistols. So long-range pistoling is not going to help very much, because it's hard to hit the targets, and you need to go for headshots, and it's going to take multiple headshots at the distance to take somebody down. I'm TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer. Yes, I am aware I left out the weapon that shall not be named nor used.